Once upon a time, in a small village called Umu Okoro in eastern Nigeria, there was a river that everyone loved. This was not just any river. It was special because it was watched over by Queen Ezenwanyi, a kind and magical spirit. Queen Ezenwanyi was famous for helping people. She always made sure no one in the village ever went hungry. Whenever people needed food, they would go to the river and say, "Oh, Queen Ezenwanyi, we are hungry. Please help us." The river would move gently, and beautiful trays would float out of the water. These trays were full of delicious meals like yam porridge, grilled fish, and plantains, all glistening under the sun. The trays were always perfectly decorated with fresh leaves and beautiful flowers, a sign of the Queen's kindness. Everyone could eat, no matter how many people came. But Queen Ezenwanyi had one rule. After you eat, please return the trays to the river. It was a way of saying thank you and keeping things balanced. The people followed her rule, and the village was happy and peaceful. They danced and sang, celebrating the kindness they had received. As time went by, some people began to forget the importance of gratitude. They noticed how beautiful the trays were. "This tray is so nice," one man whispered to his wife. "Why should we return it? Queen Ezenwanyi has so many." Little by little, people began to take the trays home and keep them. Some even sold the trays for money. The more trays that went missing, the sadder Queen Ezenwanyi became. She sent quiet warnings. Sometimes the water would stop moving, or a gentle wind would blow. The river, once lively and sparkling, became still and dark, but no one listened. This went on for a very long time. Queen Ezenwanyi felt the hurt deep in her heart. She had given so much to the village, and yet the people had become selfish and ungrateful. She felt disappointed, like a mother whose children no longer listened. The kindness she had shared, once returned with smiles and laughter, was now met with only greed. Her anger grew, and she made a decision. One day, a group of traders came to the river, very hungry from their long trip. They called out, "Oh, Queen Ezenwanyi, we are starving, please give us food." But this time, the river stayed still. There were no ripples, no trays, no food. The traders cried out again, "Queen Ezenwanyi, please, we are hungry." But still, nothing happened. Soon the villagers understood. Queen Ezenwanyi, hurt by their greed, had disappeared. The river became quiet and dark, like the village had lost its heartbeat. The once joyful place was now silent. The food and trays never came again. Without the river's help, the village began to struggle. Farmers couldn't grow crops, and fishermen caught nothing. The people felt sad and guilty, as though they had lost something precious. They went to the river and said, "Queen Ezenwanyi, we are sorry. Please forgive us. We will return the trays we took." But it was too late. The trays they had taken were no longer magical. They were dull and empty, just ordinary plates now. Queen Ezenwanyi did not return, and the river stayed silent, its waters still as stone. From then on, the villagers would bring their children to the river and tell them the story. They taught them to always be grateful and never take kindness for granted. They told their children how the river, once full of life and food, had become still and lifeless because of their greed. Even though the river never gave food again, the lesson of Queen Ezenwanyi lived on. The villagers knew that greed had cost them something precious, and they promised to never make that mistake again. The moral lesson in this story is, be thankful for the kindness of others. If you take too much without giving back, you might lose the help you need.